captain in the United States Army and Ranger during the Vietnam War, Rick Stetson helped lead Troy to the 1972 NAIA district title. During his Troy career, Stetson set the program's 2-mile record at 9 minutes 9 seconds, in addition to records for the 3-mile run and steeplechase. Following his athletic career on the track, Stetson became Troy's first admissions counselor and eventually the director of alumni affairs, in addition to working with Troy University Sports Hall of Fame member Doc Anderson with Troy's cross-country team. Stetson took over the track and field program following Anderson's departure, coached Troy University Sports Hall of Fame member Steve Venable, and hired Troy University Sports Hall of Fame member Charles Oliver. During his undergraduate years, Stetson was the sports editor for the Tripolitan. After graduation, he stayed in the media industry, serving as the public address announcer and radio play-by-play broadcaster for Troy football and basketball games. A decorated Army veteran, Stetson risked his life leading a long-range reconnaissance patrol unit to find enemy troops, for which he was awarded the Bronze Star with a V designation for his valor in combat in Vietnam.
Dad loved Troy and loved sports. So we grew up in a household that from our earliest ages we were playing Little League baseball and going to Troy State games. And so Dad had what I would describe as a gregarious personality. He was super charming, super friendly, super outgoing, great smile, great laugh, and really we grew up in Troy with most people knowing him either from his voice at Troy games or he was on the radio. There was a period when he was on local cable access television, so he was kind of a local celebrity, but he was a loving dad and loved competition. Dad came to Troy after Vietnam. So he grew up in Barrington, Illinois, it's a Chicago suburb, and did 1 year at the University of Illinois before going off to Vietnam. And Dad was in the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol, or the LRPs as they called them. And he did a full tour there, saw some combat, and used the GI Bill to come to Troy, Alabama, which felt like a world away from all of his family and friends up north. And in addition to his student life in Troy, got a job at the radio station. So Dad and Mom met when Dad was at WTBF. Well, you know, they both became educators, and I think that really kind of speaks to the household we grew up in. You know, Dad, when he left Troy as an employee, just went across the street to the high school where he became the guidance counselor. So Dad was my guidance counselor and Mom was my principal. Dad was always a runner. He just had that competitive spirit, and he's kind of, I guess, always had the mentality of a long-distance runner. And he was fast. He was good at it. So he really, I think, wanted to devote himself to it after Vietnam. And this was a time in American history when people thought jogging was weird. You know, there really was not a running culture like there is now. And he loved it. He was just wired when he wanted to think about something, when he wanted to get out, get away, be by himself. He ran. Two of the most important people for Dad were Nick Costes, who I mentioned earlier, and Doc Anderson. They were both really important people in both distance running and track and field. So we grew up, I think everybody in Troy remembers Coach Costes running up and down the streets of Troy. Younger brother Scott took his talents to baseball, but I think those skills, I mean, I ultimately took my competitive interest to debate. And so whether I was trying to win a debate tournament or my brother was trying to win a baseball game, we saw Dad's pride in us trying to do our best. So he understood the importance of practice. There were a lot of backyard throwing the baseball type of sessions. And even though neither my brother or I became good runners, he still wanted us to excel at what we were doing. And I've always taken that as one of the great things about sports, is that it makes you elevate your game and you begin to measure yourself against the people who are the best, and you want to be the best too. So Dad really instilled that in both my brother and me. He would have been so proud to be here. I am really excited and honored that he has been selected for this, and the only sort of bittersweet part is that he can't be there to see it in person. To have his name considered among these other excellent athletes would really have just been a real source of pride for him.